One of the interesting things about horror movies in general is they always were riding the wave of technology, not just in how you can do special effects cheaply, but just even in ways of distribution. Even in the early days, yeah, true, you had your big studio films, you had your Dracula, and you had your Frankenstein. But the bulk of horror movies were done by small independent filmmakers, and they would finish their films, they'd load up their cars and drive to local theaters and try to sell their movies. And later on, when home video became a thing, they would put their films onto VHS. When camcorders and home video recorders became a thing, they would often sometimes film them on VHS to cut cost. And then the straight to DVD market happened, and you didn't have the advertising dollars or even the word of mouth that a major studio release had. So what you really needed to get to have people see your movie, and so you can get to that almighty dollar, was you needed some sort of trick, and usually that was the cover art, whether it was Photoshop or a painting or a drawing. You'd find something, and it may not even resemble anything in the movie. The girls may not be anywhere near as scantily clad. The monster may not look anything like the monster shown on the cover. But if you looked at that cover and it made you grab that video and it excited you enough that you didn't put it back down before you went to the register and you either bought it or rented it, it had done its job. Now, I used to work for Blockbuster Video, and the only employee perk we had was we got free rentals. So I began to see through the trick of the great cover art. Because while the cover on the front was fine, it was great, it made you go, wow, this movie looks incredible, you could always flip the VHS or the DVD over and you could look on the back cover. Sometimes they were smart and they only had text, and you had to go, should I rent this? Should I not rent this? But oftentimes they had a few actual stills from the movie itself, and from there you could actually judge the production values, and you knew if it was a waste of your time or not. I got pretty good at spotting what movies were absolute garbage, what movies were gem. I could look at a movie and go, this movie may be low budget, but it's going to be pretty darn cool. And I could look at another movie and go, this movie's going to become one of the sci-fi movies of the week. So, you know what they say, you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but you can definitely judge one by its back cover. Well, maybe not a book, but definitely a VHS or a DVD. Any rate, I'm going off on a tangent. The point is, nowadays, instead of straight to video, we have straight to streaming. And instead of having these nice, very large, covers for your videotapes and your DVDs, we've got little thumbnails. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the whole nature of the streaming service. You're already there. All you have to do is hit play. You don't need to grab it off a wall and walk all the way to the counter and plonk down your $5 to rent it. They already got you, but they just don't put any effort into it. Sometimes it's just random stills from the movie with just the name on it. At least with the older films, they often reproduce the poster art. But still, a lot of times, I look at the stills and they don't excite me. But this movie, Yummy, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow. It had like a cool looking zombie, and she was like cut in half, and she was eating her own intestines. I went, this movie looks intense. I gotta see it. So, I just have to get this off my chest. It's just something I gotta know. Why do they call it a perm when it only lasts for about 5 months? It ought to be called a temp. Now, I was watching this period piece movie, and it was set back in the 1700s, and this girl was taking hot pokers, and she was sticking it in the hair of her friend. Now, you'd be thinking, what's she doing? Is she torturing her? Is she, grilling her for information? No. She was trying to help her friend get all purty because that's how they used to do perms back in the day. And I don't know how they did it, without like getting third-degree burns or setting her friend's hair on fire, but, they did it. And the reason, she was trying to get herself all pretty was because her boyfriend was coming over for dinner. And back then, if you stayed for dinner, that meant you stayed the night because everybody lived so far away. Now, the parents, they didn't trust the boyfriend and girlfriend with their raging hormones. So they literally sewed the poor boy into the bed. And I was thinking, what did he do if he had to go to the bathroom? Did he, scream for help? Did he just wet the bed? I mean, it's hard enough impressing your girlfriend's father without, literally shitting the bed. Not only that, back then, people didn't bathe as often. He probably had to go home smelling like a latrine. He probably got teased by all of his friends. They're probably going, hey, I hear your girlfriend's father's so scary. You literally pissed yourself. Now, you may be asking yourself, is this going anywhere? Well, the answer is yes. You see, getting hot pokers to the face and enduring extreme humiliation and or discomfort, or both at the same time, in order to win over someone you like, well, those are reoccurring themes in this movie, Yummy. You didn't think I'd bring it all back now, did you? Now, this is a 2020 zombie movie, and it is the first feature film by a director named Lars Demoshi. Demosu? Let me get my notes here. Lars Demoso? I'm probably butchering his name. So, I'm just going to call him Director Lars. Just don't think of him as a guy from Metallica, because they're two different Lars. Anyway. Now, this is sort of a fleshed out version of a short film that director Lars had made called Patient Zero. Yummy follows the adventures of three people who visit a shady European hospital for some affordable plastic surgery. Our main character is Allison, and we are introduced to her as she takes offense to a group of teenage boys in a passing car who are showing their appreciation for her mammalian protuberances. Now, Allison is completely sick of this type of behavior, and she is visiting the plastic surgeon because she wants to get a breast reduction. Her mother is going to the same plastic surgeon, but she just wants to get a facelift, and she is terribly disappointed in her daughter for wanting to get rid of her gift from God. Now, also with them is Michael, who is Allison's boyfriend and the designated driver. Now, Michael is there because he wants to pop the question, obviously also to show support for his girlfriend. But don't worry. This isn't one of those, movies that's going to be a social commentary on the need to change one's body, because it doesn't take too long to get to the good stuff. Now, this movie also starts off with subtitles, and well, personally, I got no problem with the subtitles. I love me a good subtitle. But if you are one of those people that don't like subtitles, don't get your panties in a bunch, because the language spoken here is Balkanese, and apparently it's a made-up language created by the director's wife, and most of the movie is actually in English. Now, Michael is a medical school dropout. He is studying to become a doctor, but he's so squeamish that he can't stand the sight of blood. In fact, if he sees blood, he blows chunks.
Sorry.
This is going to be very inconvenient for him very soon. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The thing is, he doesn't like all the corners this hospital is cutting, and he fears for his girlfriend's safety.
Isn't it prohibited to drink coffee in an OR?
He's professional.
In fact, he is so annoying, in order to shut him up, the head of the hospital suggests that the world's sleaziest orderly gives Michael a tour of the hospital. And 19 minutes into the movie, Michael discovers a woman tied to a bed with a mask. He removes the mask, and she's a zombie, and he accidentally releases her. She is Patient Zero, and pretty much infects everyone in the hospital. And from then on in, it is non-stop zombie action, totally over the top, totally awesome. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Sean, zombie movies have been done to death. I've seen it all. But have you seen a zombie movie where someone dies from reverse liposuction? Have you seen a zombie movie where someone dies after getting their hand stuck in a shredder? Have you seen a zombie movie where a man who's recently had his penis surgically reconstructed has it set on fire? I think not. So, if you want to see it, check it out. It's available currently in America via the Shudder network, which is only, I think, about $5 a month. I'm expecting that check in the mail, Shudder. Actually, I'm not expecting a check, but it would be really nice if I got one. Any rate, Yummy is great. I thought it was over the top, some good special effects. It's one of the few movies I've seen that not only has the over-the-top action and lots of inventive gore in it, I also think it was very funny in places, yet could still be scary. I think that you should definitely check it out, especially if you like zombie movies, or if you like movies about creepy hospitals. I say, check it out. As always, my name is Sean Robinson. If you enjoy this type of content, leave me a message in the comment section and say, Sean, review more horror movies. Or if you just want to see me do goofy stuff, say, Sean, stop reviewing horror movies and do goofy stuff. Or if you just want to see me talking about pro wrestling, you can leave a comment about that as well. Do all the usual YouTube things. Share, like, and subscribe. And I'll be back in a bit with more content. And as I said, this is the month of October, so whether you like me reviewing horror movies or not, expect to see me do a bit more of that. So, thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe, and thank you for watching my video.